Mary Cassatt painted child in a straw hat. Let's think about that. Mary Cassatt painted child in a straw hat. Let's think about that. And children playing on the beach. What peacefulness they teach. She painted many others, of children and their mothers. When painting was not a popular female occupation, she made a strong statement for women's liberation. Although she was born in Pittsburgh, PA, she often lived in Paris, France, where her friend Degas painted her and the ballet dance. She used bold lines and flat colors in the impressionistic way to then become the most famous woman painter in the USA. She introduced Impressionism to the U.S., making the connection, plus earning respect as art consultant to the Havermeyer collection. Later, France's Legion of Honor in 1904. Sadly, blindness prevented her from doing more. Mary Cassatt painted child in a straw hat. Let's think about that. Leonardo da Vinci, from Italy. Leonardo da Vinci, from Italy. Tarantella, pizza, and spaghetti. He studied the body. That's called anatomy. He used math in his sketchings, and his paintings are, the most famous of which is the Mona Lisa, actually named La Gioconda, the pyramid and delicate form, those eyes, that intriguing smile, and colors warm. But Da Vinci was a scientist to boot. Water skis, armored car, flying machine, and parachute. His brilliant mind dazzles us. Did he know Christopher Columbus? Leonardo da Vinci, from Italy. A genius, a genius, a genius. Degas, c'est magnifique. Degas, c'est magnifique, n'est-ce pas? Vive la France, vive la danse. Degas painted many scenes of the ballet dance. He captured the dancers' form and their stance, concentrated on the body's lines, movements, and natural pose, sometimes relaxed, sometimes on toes. Striving for balance in composition, he sculpted ballerinas in fourth position. Molding figures in wax and clay, he painted in a somewhat impressionistic way. But his style was uniquely his own, inspired by Italian masters and Japanese tone. So he could better create, he lived alone. Though friends included Cassatt, Manet, Van Gogh, and Monet, whom he influenced by his racetracks, circuses, theater, and ballet. Degas, c'est magnifique, n'est-ce pas? Vive la France, vive la danse. Winslow, Homer loved the sea and the shore. Winslow, Homer loved the sea and the shore. Winslow, Homer painted boats and much more. He illustrated battles of the Civil War. He also painted farm and country lore. He visited Paris and the London coast, deciding he liked harbors the most. Returning to the United States, Prouts Neck, Maine suited his taste. He lived alone with Sam, his dog. He studied nature, light, clouds, and fog. Visited Bermuda, showed us Nassau. He painted exactly what he saw. Realism was the style the old master did frame. Snap the whip was a children's game. Lone sailor on the Gulf Stream fears no shark, though we feel afraid in the waves in the dark. Winslow, Homer loved the sea and the shore. Winslow, Homer painted boats and much more. Viva la vida, viva la Frida. Viva la vida, viva la Frida. Hear us chant, hear us shout. But you only heard your voice so many days in and out of your beloved blue house where you were born, blossomed, then withered, where your stubborn spirit never quivered, with a lifetime of illnesses and injuries defied, battling polio as a child with your resolve ratified. So the peg-leg teasing pushed you to your papa's photography and to wear pants and long skirts to hide your deformity. You would become a painter instead of a doctor, then a superb teacher, mentor, and proctor. Photographic memory, artist, linguist, promoter of Mexican culture, revered and respected artist and sculptor. Wearable art, Mexican fashionista, toda bella, bella vista. You are a colorful, traditional work of art. Over half of your pieces are self-portraits. How appropriately smart. Your bushy eyebrows, never smiling, solemn lips. The Louvre admired and purchased your painting of the frame. What serious recognition of your talents and fame. Now with worldwide and wild acclaim, we chant and shout, Viva la vida, viva la Frida. Monster Matisse. Bobby Dubois, Monster Matisse, Bobby Dubois, he made things with these. Illustrator, painter, patterns, pizzazz, he published a book and called it jazz. Cut it out, colors that shout, feelings, stories, people in time. Icarus falling, bright burst calling, seaweed wreathing, rhythm breathing, circuses, horses, daggers throwers too. Cut it out, don't feel blue. Before his illness, he could hold a brush to paint figures, still life's interior scenes, intense colors, unusual extremes. Illustrate books using just a few lines, simple faces, flowers without vines. Bobby Dubois, Monster Matisse, Bobby Dubois, he made things with these. Illustrator, painter, patterns, pizzazz, he published a book and called it jazz. Where's Monet today? Where's Monet today? Outdoors in France, in Impressionism. That's where you'll find him. Outdoors, Monet, you studied light to paint your impression, sunrise, just right. Reflecting off the water is a small orange sun. Your background of warm colors shows us day has begun. No details on the boats, just patches of black. Textures show motion, forward and back. From this one work, a critic in disdain called all your work impressionist and gave the movement its name. You observe changes in light and atmosphere, painting your subjects somewhat unclear. But we can see your water lilies, though you were almost blind, not as lilies really are, but as an abstract kind. These flowers inspired others to paint that way. So you were a leader then, and today? Where's Monet today? Outdoors in France, in Impressionism. That's where you'll find him. Pablo Picasso, so great, not so-so. Pablo Picasso, so great, not so-so, most famous artist of the era we're in, painted acrobats and the harlequin. Born in Spain, but lived in France, fascinated by dreams and unconscious trance. A child prodigy at age 14, he began to paint. Realism was seen. Then a blue period for a few years, painted in shades of blue to reflect his tears. Later his emotions warmed and his colors, showing us circus scenes and some monsters. Cubism was born from his distorted lines, breaking down subjects into shapes for designs. There was a war in Spain. He wanted peace. He created Guernica, a masterpiece. After the war, he became more relaxed. Painted and sculpted, no moods were taxed. Pablo Picasso, so great, not so-so, most famous artist of the era we're in, painted acrobats and the harlequin. Hi, Norman Rockwell, let's walk down the street. Hi, Norman Rockwell, let's walk down the street. People who you'll paint are people who you'll meet. A soldier, a doctor, children wishing, a plumber, a barber, a young boy fishing. Let's go by the Saturday Evening Post. Your cover illustrations are something to boast. This Daydreams cover, a girl tired and meek. She needs time off, the time we all seek. Sweep away troubles or daily grind. What if? Thoughts filling her mind. Your pictures showed us everyday life, times of joy, times of strife. At the baseball field, youngsters playing. Around the table, families praying. Freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom from want, freedom from fear. Your posters make us smile and cheer. We'll treasure triple self-portrait stamp and art, since you and your subjects touched our heart. Hi, Norman Rockwell, let's walk down the street. People who you'll paint are people who you'll meet. We get the point, sirrah, ... We get the point, sirrah, ... by viewing Afternoon at La Rangeat, ... Up close it's difficult to see exactly what you meant the dots to be. But at a distance, the dots become clear subjects, at least to some. The couples, the families, the fisherwomen too, appear rather like statues, brown, orange, and blue. You created your own Neo-Impressionism style, making Monet, Pissarro, and other Impressionists smile. The myriad perfect circles from the tip of your brush. Pointillism takes patience, don't rush. Pointillism made you famous, we recall. Many pieces painted, but you didn't complete all. We get the point, sirrah, ... by viewing Afternoon at La Rangeat, ... That's a Vincent van Gogh. That's a Vincent van Gogh. Short, impressionistic brushstrokes. Lots of yellow, red, green, and blue. Colors that jump out at you. Van Gogh, you never let yourself grow old. Possibly because only one of your 1,700 paintings ever sold. But now they're worth more than gold. You were unhappy, emotional, and physically ill. Didn't anyone ever tell you that you were special? You loved God, nature, people, and many things, and you decided to tell it through your artist palette. The warm wheat growing in the harvest, the blue quiet of your bedroom at Arles, lines and greens in Gauguin's chair, the twirling and swirling of the starry night's air. We're sorry no one could make you feel proud, since now your artistic genius rings out loud. That's a Vincent van Gogh. Short, impressionistic brushstrokes, lots of yellow, red, green, and blue, colors that jump out at you. That's a Vincent van Gogh.